All right, fellow AMC stockholders, XMAX Trading here. I'm going to go over some pretty amazing DD that came out today, Monday, December 6th, 2021. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, let's get started. So Analyst says, buy GME and AMC before Evergrande crash. A veteran credit analyst has encouraged holding meme stocks GameStop and AMC ahead of what he expects to be a financial meltdown, in part by the demise of Chinese property giant Evergrande. Dr. Marco Metzler, an advisory board member of the German market screen agency, warned in a LinkedIn post that markets are extremely overvalued and a crash will happen very soon. This is the last opportunity to hedge against the crash and even benefit from it, Metzler said. Now is the opportunity to sell shares and bonds as well as most cryptocurrencies. Metzler went on to say the only two stocks he would hold are AMC and GameStop. Go long in AMC and GME, cryptocurrencies backed and the crypto backed with AMC and GME, he urged, before saying the reason for his advice would be explained in another post soon. Evergrande crisis escalates. Metzler, like many observers, has long been sounding alarms of the status of China Evergrande, claiming the extent of the company's problems are being covered up. The concern has been more than justified, with Evergrande today revealing there's no guarantee you have enough funds to honor debt repayments. The company's founder, Zhu Jiang, otherwise known as Hu Kan, who was previously offloaded personal assets trying to keep the business afloat, has been summoned by local government officials to address the matter. China Grand. The government is helping Evergrande's poor management, but that won't help international bondholders. Chinese authorities announced they will be monitoring Evergrande for its poor management by sending a task force into the company, kind of like what the U.S. government did with Lehman Brothers back in 2008. In addition to rumors, the founder has been missing since he's been summoned. This will not be the first time that Chinese billionaires have disappeared without a trace after actions and statements the state does not like. State intervention for Evergrande. Metzler says local government officials looking into Evergrande's problems have so far focused mainly on construction work, which has been previously has been halted on many developers' projects. The priority has been to help suppliers and contractors to whom Evergrande owes money, and to ensure that buyers who have purchased unfinished homes from the debt-ridden company receive them. Indeed, massive protests previously arose from customers who got into these precarious positions through ominous wealth management products offered by real estate companies like Evergrande. It has also just emerged that China's central bank will cut reserve requirements for banks while promoting healthy development of the property sector. It appears to be an attempt to reinforce messages to investors that Evergrande's woes could be contained and not have enormous global flow on effects many analysts fear. Metzler fears that regardless of any government intervention, international investors will be badly hit. As long as the government does not publicly stand up for foreign debts of the real estate companies, but only sends regulators, I don't see any chance of international bondholders recovering their money. Metzler's survivor plan. Metzler said 2 weeks ago that he went short with all of his funds buying put options on market indices worldwide with a strike price below 50% of current values. After the market has crashed by more than 50%, and by then many banks will go into default, I will sell the put options, he says. Not financial advice, just what he says. With capital gains, I will buy gold. This tangible gold will be stored in Liechtenstein and the home base of FMPC Capital Investment Firm. The stored gold will be collateral for a new stablecoin, which is fully convertible into physical gold stored in Liechtenstein. At this time, all market participants will have lost faith in existing currencies, and trust will be built up going back to a gold standard. The new stablecoin will be the ground for start of a new economic world after the Great Reset. Pretty interesting. Here's another article. It was pretty interesting regarding, related to AMC and GME, the naked short selling. This is back in 2012, so almost a decade old. Naked short selling is real, and it's fucking up our economy. Unfortunately, like many people out there, I don't know my ass from my elbow when it comes to the economy. I should know a few terms like recession and stock, but ask me to explain something like the Eurozone crisis, and that's probably why businesses get away with pretty much anything. Half of their concepts are so convoluted, you need to at least give a shit about the high school calculus to understand them, which most of us didn't. In late May, some financial news caught my interest because it is involved in some old white rich dudes getting caught with their pants down for exactly what most left-leaning angry white kids think they do, plotting against the little guy while boldly not giving a fuck. Basically, a lawyer for Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch mistakenly leaked incriminating personal emails to the press from top executives who are participating in a highly illegal stock counterfeit scheme called naked short selling. is a controversial sell tactic from Wall Street types who've been calling conspiracy theory for years until these emails completely blew their cover. Not only were these two economic juggernauts plotting the failure of a company using naked shorting, they were aware it was illegal. When underlying mentioned their naked shorts could be a nefarious move, one Merrill president said, "Fuck the compliance area. Procedures are schemegers. Procedures schemegers." Even the top banks are doing it, and it's a practice akin to counterfeit stock. In 1929, they helped sink the world economy. The only way to really stop is to understand exactly what it is and recognize if you're in business, which, by the way, is almost impossible because it's incredibly technical. That's why we talked to Cameron Reed, who published a book on naked short selling called Midas Touch. She helped give us a really, really simplified version of this dubious and sneaky practice is how hedge funds and terrorists and even mafia use to rake in the dough. So in layman terms, it's trading completely gone electronic, very few paper certificates, make it harder to track the stock. Some people discover there's 3-day legal window to settle a trade, which is regulated around an account for the time runners to go back and forth. But with electronic trades, the 3-day gap can be abused, and a time frame where brokers can illegally sell too much stock without ever declaring all that was traded to the IRS. Okay, how do people use this tactic? There's basically all this phantom stock that isn't real in the system. This is from Vice News. And so when you crush a company, all you do is sell a lot of it fast enough to create a panic with novice investors who sell everything and drive the price to zero. After that, you never have to settle the trade with the IRS because the company goes under, and whatever the broker sold, the non-existent stock is pure profit. That's super fucked up. Seems too easy. Does naked short selling affect the economic situation right now? This is in 2012. Christopher Cox, former head at SEC, said on record that naked short selling contributed to the most recent crash from driving things like Lehman Brothers into the ground. And now the hedge funds use high-frequency trading with supercomputers that calculate and trade milliseconds. It's ridiculous and even harder to track. How long is this going on? Well, it was around the Great Depression when people were literally counterfeiting stock certificates, and it contributed, among other things, to that crash. That was the thing that alarmed me when I first found out about the modern naked short selling. It's effectively electronic counterfeiting. So I've read the big shots like Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch have used naked shorting. Who else? I can't say it 100% certainty, but I think there's tremendous liability in saying it because the guys who are incredibly powerful, and that's why exactly I use a pen name. I don't be in trouble and receive death threats. Well, you've gotten death threats. One of the first pursuits of this, David Patch, kind of the original Occupy Wall Street guy back in the early 2000s, protested naked short selling for the NASDAQ. He created a website calling for an investigation in the SEC, where anonymous people on message boards were posting pictures of his family members and address, phone number, that kind of stuff. So, intimidation. Oh, absolutely. Take for them. Overstock, Patrick Byron. Overstock CEO is a pretty good guy, an honest businessman. He was bashed in the media until all this came out. He's so far removed from being a nutcase. He's very smart, anything but crazy. Any publications directly participating in this? There was a prominent business reporter who made career defaming Patrick Byrne. I read it's used by terrorists for quick dirty money. As crazy as possibility is, there could be a terrorist organization that might be funding their activities through market manipulation using naked short selling, but shorting industries they target. Like the London terrorist attacks, that was a naked shorting activity on English rail companies just before the bombings. So basically, every shitty character you can think of is getting on this. Oh yes, there's examples of Russian and Italian mafia naked short selling. Will it ever be stopped? The thing is, it's fixable. It'll take a lot of money, but it's fixable. It takes a lot of pressure from the public because they're making much money off naked shorting. The sociopathic types have no incentive to do anything differently. Maybe with better accounting regulations. I'm thinking that at this point, young people are going to be the answer. At least start the movement against practices like this. Because I gave an abbreviated version, but I thought it was pretty amazing article. Back then, they're talking about naked short selling. So. But anyway, guys, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video. You know, this naked short selling is going to be the not financial advice, but in my opinion, it could be the financial downfall of Citadel. So and we caught them with their pants down. So until next time, guys. Later.